Hello, editing username here is here, and you may notice that this video is like 40 or so minutes long. The reason for that is because it's actually 10 minutes long, but there's a bit of a surprise waiting for you at the end of the video. That is all. Good time of day, be it morning, afternoon, or night. My name is username here, and welcome to the Law Enforcement Chronicles in Watch Dogs 2. Does this guy have an arrest warrant? Yep, just let the police deal with that. I'm off duty. I'm off duty right now. And yeah, welcome to the Law Enforcement Chronicles here in Watch Dogs 2. Today I am going to get the Umeni security car, and luckily for both of us, there are two locations. Oh, is this person going to pull me out of the car? Do it. Do it. Frickin' I dare you. Do it. Oh, she's doing it. She's doing it. Well, I did just do that. Oh, do it. Punch me. Punch me. Do it. There's police right over there. Hold on. Here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Do the illegal thing. Do it. Shut up. Do it. Do it. Come here. Do it. I dare you. Do it. Do it. Do it. Look, she's shoving me. Oh, she just decked me in the face. There you go. Instant karma. Instant karma. Didn't even have to use the ability. Alright, I think someone called 911 for me. Ah. Was that 911 call for me because she was trying to beat me up? Or was that just like for something else entirely? Well, I don't know. Look at that purple bike. That person was rejected by police academy. That's unfortunate. Anyway, here comes more police. Well, they're just kind of showing up around here, so maybe that was for me. Hey, shout out to the good Samaritan who called 911, so I didn't have to, even though I already had my plan. Yeah, looks like that was for me. Shout out to that. Anyway, so focusing on the topic of the episode. All right, you just go on ahead. Don't want to catch your foot or anything like the last take. Man, fun story to talk about in the last take. Anyway, so we are here at the Transbase Center right here on the map, and today I'm going to show you how to get the Umeni security car. There are two locations that I'm aware of, and, well, correction, two locations that I'm aware of that are not defended, that are not in restricted areas. And there's actually like 5 more locations, and I literally just had like a half-hour take of an episode that went down the complete freaking drain because I ran into some trouble where even though I very silently eliminated all of the guards there, and even though I got the vehicle silently, the next time I showed up near a Umeni restricted area, I got a detection meter and almost got seen because of fricking game design. Okay, I'm gonna focus on the topic of the video, and then I'll save all the complaining for the end of it. This game makes me complain a lot. So, the first location is conveniently just a couple blocks away from the Transbase Center. It's literally right here around this corner. And, oh. What the heck? There's one on the street. Is that mine? Wait, is that mine? Is that mine from the first take? Wait. I know how to find out. Oh, yeah, it's not lined up. This must be mine from, like, this must be mine from the failed take. But, let's just make sure. What's that sound? Is that paper? What does that sound? Someone rummaging through his trash, maybe? Well, I don't know. I got in this car without picking the lock, so it must be mine from the previous take. Anyway, so yeah, it turns out that I haven't really seen this on the wiki anywhere. But yeah, this spot right here on the map, just next to SF MoMA, can spawn some Umeni security cars. Simple as that. It can spawn 2 to 4. I've never seen it just spawn 1, but it can spawn 2 to 4, and you just hop on in. Right here, just a couple blocks away from the Transbase Center. I actually discovered this on the fly one time, and it's one of the reasons I was inspired to make this series, because I didn't know this was here. I had to stumble on it, and now I've hopefully saved you the trouble of having to do that. And now you know. Yeah, right here. Friendly reminder on the map, right here. If you want a Umeni security car, you just go right here. And you can find one right in there. It's also next to the sidewalk, so civilians might decide to summon the police, you know, from the ether. But, you know, that doesn't usually happen even when you don't have the hijacker ability. So yeah, that is the first location. I am going to now go to the second one. I know, right? This is the first time in Law Enforcement Chronicles history that we're actually going to go to 2 locations because they're in different areas. Because of the garage thing, man. Here, let me just set a waypoint. And yeah, as the sun comes up from the rainy night that we just had, I might as well go ahead and talk a little bit about, like, just for a couple minutes, I suppose. I don't need to spend a huge amount of time complaining. This game makes me complain a lot. It's almost like it's everything that I just don't like in modern game design. Just like rolled up all into one. You know, one little nice little ball. And yeah. What was I going to talk about at the beginning of the episode? Oh, right, it's the freaking stupid game design. Like, if you have an authority force in an open world game like this, and you make just being in their vehicles illegal, so that they attack you on sight when you do that, what does that add to the game? What does that add to the game from a gameplay perspective? Oh, but it's realistic. Well, this is a video game where I can beeline into any one of these cars and not become putty immediately. So this is a game where I can respawn every single time someone tries to murder me and succeeds. These are video games. It's the age-old debate of just fun versus realism. You know, if you have too much realism, the game's not fun anymore. If you have too much fun, then sometimes it can detract from the realism. But there are certain times where you should detract from the realism because it robs you of the fun. Sometimes, people are just going to play your game any way they want. Usually. And sometimes there's going to be people out there, like myself, who just want to drive the police cars for whatever reason. They're not really feeling in the mood to drive the civilian cars. They just want to drive the police cars. And so that's not where I would need to go. That's not my turn. And so yeah, my earlier point, if you have an authority force like that and they attack you on sight for using their vehicles, like, what does that add to the game? Just a little bit of realism? No, it detracts from the fun. It's fun to have vehicles that you couldn't get normally. Like, in real life, if I wanted to drive a police car in real life, basically the only way to legally do that for like an extended period of time is to join a police department. So, if I want to have the fun of doing that, I would play a video game. Like this one! Oh, what are you saying? The police don't let you drive their vehicles? What does that add to the game? That doesn't enrich the experience. That doesn't make it more well, it does make it slightly more realistic. That doesn't make it more realistic in an enriching way that actually adds to the experience. Everyone who doesn't care gets annoyed because they avoid the police cars. It can actually be an inconvenience and almost a danger in a way if they're in a situation where the only nearby vehicles around are like police vehicles and they decide they don't want to get into them because they might get attacked. And then of course the people like me, there's no fun value in it because, if I want to drive this car, I have to go to these two specific locations to get it. Like, there's a whole lot I could say about just game design in general, but I think I'll leave it there because I've been talking for the whole car ride and basically just kind of complaining. Just in general, when there are certain things that they don't add anything to the game, just leave them out. Just come on. If there's these realisms that don't add anything to the game that make it worse, just leave them out. And yeah, here we are. Oh. That one's kind of in the floor. That's interesting. This one kind of broke. And yeah, here this is on the map. It's right next to the Blue Marina. Here is the second location in Oakland to find the Umeni security car without it being a restricted area. I'm going to get in this car and see what happens. Probably nothing. Or I might go flying into the stratosphere. Absolutely nothing, yep. Sadly, physics engines are generally good enough that you don't have spectacular failures when they slightly glitch out. So yeah, what? Oh. Gang fight. Yeah, not my problem. So yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you get the Umeni security car if you're, well, without mods. And yeah, friendly reminder. Friendly reminder. If you're on PC, don't even listen to a word I'm saying. Just get the frickin'... Just get that. I like how I replaced one of the security cars that was already a security car. But yeah, if you're on PC, just get that mod. It'll be linked in the description of all the Law Enforcement Chronicles episodes. Just do that. But if you're like playing unmodded for whatever reason, like if you're in multiplayer, or if you're on a console especially, then this is how to do it. Right here, friendly reminder. Right here on the map is the San Francisco location. And right over here on the map is the Oakland location. Both of these places have no restricted areas, no guards. You just waltz up and you take it whenever you want. And by the way, they do get a little bit of points for at least putting these in the game. Like the Trans-Bay Center, like these 2 points. At least these are in the game. They could have easily not done that. But they did do that, so shout out to them. However, having the game design of not allowing people to have what they want in regards to vehicles is kind of dumb. Why can't you drive? That'll just be complaining. This is the law enforcement. This is how to get this car, and I've already done that. Anything more would just be pointless complaining. I'll save that for another video. And so yeah, that's how you do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys utilize this, because now you know. But what I hope more is for each and every one of you to have the best day, morning, evening, night, afternoon, rainy night. Get it? Because it was raining at the beginning of the video. That you possibly can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Oh, hey, just an addendum. And this is going to be complaining. So, like, the video's already over. You can click off if you want. Or if you want to listen to me rant for, like, another minute, you can go ahead and do that. Teska's getting car off? Whatever. Yeah, just a couple of addendums to what I was talking about. This plays into the whole, like, garages thing. Like how open world games used to have garages where you could just put whatever you want in it as long as it would fit, and then it would just be there next time. So you could actually have what you want and save what you want. And I don't approve of the game design of not having that anymore. I missed the Just Cause 1 days especially, because Just Cause 1 was so good for that. Just Cause 1, except for side missions, you could do anything, and it's the famous Black Hand Ballard story that I'm about to bring up. You just... Any vehicle you really want, as long as it wasn't in a side mission, because those have glitched, like, programming properties. Anything you want, you just, if you can get it, then you can have it. That's it. That's how games are supposed to be designed. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be realistic in some ways, but in other ways, they're just supposed to be fun. And just let go of realism and sometimes be a little dumb, and sometimes just generally let the player have a good time, you know? Because ultimately, that's really what a lot of people play video games to do, is just have a good time, to do things that they couldn't normally do in real life, or that they couldn't legally normally do in real life. So, like, it's just... And it's kind of ironic how I'm saying that games are supposed to, like, let you be stupid and do stupid things, and I have, like, a video in production that's gonna talk all about how games do that too much. And, of course, obviously too much of one thing is a bad thing, but, you know, Still, you know, just, games are supposed to be just fun escapism, and they're supposed to be a realm in which you have control, and you can do what you want. That's one of the major things about video games in general. It's a world that people can control. It's a world where they escape their lives and they just do what they want. Do you want to, like, blow up a whole country? Then yeah, you go play Just Cause. Do you want to be a criminal? You pick any open world game, really. Do you want to be a Special Forces guy? Call of Duty or Tom Clancy games, or what's the other one? I said what's the other one, and then I thought of Siege, and I realized that's also a Tom Clancy game, Rainbow Six Siege. And like, you know, if you want to command armies, you pick RTS games like Command & Conquer. We can't talk about games in general without me mentioning the best one of all time, Command & Conquer. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I'm just. I've been talking for, I don't know. Here, I'm gonna turn the camera to the side of the car. Why not? It's better backdrop for how I'm talking. I don't even have my hands on my keyboard and mouse. This is spontaneous, what I'm talking about. I did not plan for this. But I don't really know what else there is to say. Games are supposed to be fun escapism. Yes, they can be realistic. Yes, they can be ultra realistic if the player wants that. Like, if you want an ultra-realistic military simulator instead of just, you know, goofy arcadey Battlefield. Oh, wait, no. Goofy arcadey sci-fi Halo versus less goofy, less arcadey, but still not very realistic Battlefield, where you just play as a soldier in a giant battle. But if you want a military simulator, you go play Arma. And a lot of these games, they just in general, games in general, they just have a lot of these things where, like, it's okay to be realistic in some ways. It's really cool the way the police work in Mafia 2, for example. I don't know if I mentioned Mafia 2 in this take, the previous take, but I mentioned it in one of them, and I talked about how I think it's stupid that they don't let you drive police cars. But, like, it's okay to have certain levels of realism. I think it's really cool that in Mafia 2 you can get pulled over by the police instead of they just automatically attack you like every other open world game. At the same time, sometimes there are these certain points where it's a little too far. Like, really, there really is not much else more to say. You know, people want to do what they want to do, and games should let them. And if the game's not built for that, it should let them do it anyway. You know, if they want to glitch or break the game spectacularly, if they just want to do something, they should do it. Games, I think a good way of putting it is that games should be yes men, essentially. Games should not have restrictions. They could have reasonable reasonable, world restrictions, like if you leave the San Francisco... Oh, there's an idle camera? I didn't know that. Yeah, games can have reasonable restrictions. The idle camera reminded me to segment the recording as I just talk like mad. But yeah, games can have restrictions in reasonable ways. Like, a lot of them don't have building interiors, I say, as I look at the giant arena that I don't actually know if it has one. I haven't finished the game yet. Maybe there's a mission there. Like, certain restrictions are okay. You know, if the idea of your game design is that there's an authority that, controls the map and you fight them and that's the point, then okay, you can have restrictions that are part of that theme and that realistic, it'd be realistic to have restricted areas like this game. It could be realistic that I don't know, it could be realistic that they don't let you get in their vehicles, but they should still let you have them. I think games should just let you do things. I don't care if it makes you put in a little work for it. I put in a lot of work for the Black Hand Ballard, but the thing is, as a player, I wanted to do that. And I wanted to do that bad enough that I was willing to figure it out within the realm of the game not being designed for that. And I did that, and I figured that out. And I was rewarded, and I earned that Black Hand Ballard by doing that. I was rewarded for that. I was not hit with a restriction or anything. In this game, what do you have to do in order to get this car that I'm currently driving? That I just had a 10-minute video on how to get. I don't actually know how long it was. But yeah, 10-minute video on how to get. You have to go to these two locations. And, well, I mean, again, it's very good that these locations are in the game. And they were like, here, let's just put a spawn point that's not a restricted area so that if people really want this car, they can go here whenever they want. That is good. However, at the same time, I feel like a lot of these games, sometimes their game design is just going a little bit further towards the realistic side or the restrictive side, essentially. Especially the restrictive side. Because, again, there goes the idle camera again. And, I just think these games should have things that generally support whatever the player wants to do, pretty much. This game would be perfectly fine. I would not have these complaints if you had a garage system. Simple as that. If you had a Saints Row garage system where you have one garage but it stores all your vehicles, or if you had a Just Cause GTA garage system where each garage, you actually have to use the space in the garage, and every garage might only have one slot. That'd be fine. That would be fine because it would be just unrestricted. Whatever you want, just go get it. It might take a bit of effort to get these vehicles, and the game might, react according to its theme. This game's theme is, being a hacker or a criminal in a city, so of course, if you do realistically illegal things, and not even in fact, because, hey, friendly reminder that all these open world games, they don't have the realism of having traffic laws, because that's dumb and stupid and everyone would hate the game. And people who play Mafia, in which it does have those traffic laws, they get annoyed. It's cool at first, but then it gets old quick. And I'm talking about the same thing right here. Having, and it's not even good because it doesn't add anything to the game. It makes it a little more just inconvenient and less user-friendly. Like I mentioned the example of, if you're in a situation where there's just all kinds of police around and you need to leave immediately, maybe your objective is a guy who's running away now and you have to go chase him, and you have all these police cars, and people's first instinct isn't to use one of them because there's a mechanic where you're just attacked on sight for using it. This is a video game. This is a video game. You should be free to do whatever you want, as I've been saying. It's just a video game. And like I said earlier, I think games should be yes men. I think there should be no restrictions at all. Well, I mean, obviously a couple of realistic restrictions, like the fact that, if you leave the map, you get thrown back because there's nothing outside the map. You don't want to break your game in ways You don't want to. Well, I mean, it's okay to break your game. Even I think there's nothing wrong with video game glitches. I also think that it's okay and reasonable to have those sorts of restrictions. Sometimes. I can't really think of. Honestly, I'm sitting here. I'm thinking of like, what are restrictions in games that I'm thinking of, and I honestly can't really think of any. I really think games should just be like I said, yes men, just completely unrestricted. Like Just Cause 3. That's why Just Cause 3 is a massive success. Because you freaking do whatever you want. That's the thing. And even that game has like a call-in vehicle system that doesn't allow you to have what you... Well, I mean, to be fair, it's slightly a little more nitpicky in Just Cause 3. Because in Just Cause 3, it's not really about the vehicles. It's about the paint jobs, more or less. Because like, if you want the Imperator Bavarium tank, or Imperator Bavarium tank, however you pronounce that, in Just Cause 3, you just go blow up the base, that unlocks it, and then you unlock it, and then you just have it whenever. Which, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. However, if you want the Medici military version, you have to go to Falco Maxime. And I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that. You know, they give you the vehicle, and wanting, like, the different paint job if you want, I think that's a little bit more of a nitpick. But I'm talking about in, like, this game. Like, as a perfect example of one of the things where I really realized this just idiocy is because there's a normal MRAP in the game that you can go buy. And I did a test where I saved the game first by literally taking the files out. Frickin' games not allowing you to have multiple saves or auto-saving constantly. That's a topic for another frickin' day. And so I did a test I just went out and I bought it to see what it was, because I thought maybe somehow miraculously it could maybe be the police version, or maybe it would have a light bar. Maybe it would be different than the police one, but maybe it would still have a light bar. And no, it's all white, and it's a civilian version. It's a civilian version. Just restrictions, really. Just restrictions for the sake of realism, and that's it. It's a very major debate, fun versus realism, that I would say. And I think sometimes it detracts from games. Sometimes it definitely really does detract from games. And I don't think it should be a thing. I've said this a lot of times. I think games should be yes men. I think games should be playgrounds in which you can do whatever you want. Absolutely whatever you want. In this game, you can hack the world, whatever. You can do whatever you want with hacking. You can screw with people by making their cars speed off in a general direction. You can get people arrested and cackle like a maniac. Or you know, but something as simple as just, hey, can I drive the police car around? And the answer should just be yes. That's it. And the answer currently is yes, but you have to go to a single specific place in order to get one. If we're talking about the SFPD Caval, which is what I'm talking about. Yes, you have to go to a specific place to get one. That's still kind of a restriction. I don't know. That's still kind of a restriction. I don't think games should have these mechanics anymore. I think a lot of these games... I think we should bring back the garage systems of old that essentially give the player freedom on what to have for vehicles. And I can't really think of very many other games that are like that. I can't really think of any other games that have like these major restrictions that I can think of. Like restrictions for the sake of realism versus other things. Versus having no restrictions for the sake of fun. I mean, I can't really think of any other examples of that. But, like, this is a pretty good example, I would say. I think this pretty much explains what I'm talking about pretty well. You know, you made a video game that I can now play in the comfort of my own home. This is mine now. You have essentially sold me... I actually got this game for free. You actually sold me this game, and you sold me a playground in which I can do whatever I want in within this world that you have created. Oh, can I drive a police car? No. Can I drive an MRAP? MRAP? No. Well, we've established that driving the police car is a matter of going to specific locations, but, like, in the MRAP's case, can I drive an MRAP? No. No. I don't actually know if the property applies to the MRAP. I'm going to have to figure that one out for the Law Enforcement Chronicles episode. I'm going to go ahead and... Hang on. Where's the key? There, I segmented the recording. Rip the spinning. Rip in pieces the spinning. I'm talking for a while, I just realized. I'm gonna end up running out of space, jeez. But yeah, like, I can understand making the player work for it. Like I mentioned about the Black Hand Ballard. You know, this game should have this game. I really would be, honestly, now that I think of it, I'm probably just running in circles, repeating things I've already said. So yeah, it's as simple as that. Games should be playgrounds. Games should not say no to you in any way. Okay, maybe in a couple ways. Games should not say no to you in any way, or if they do, they should do it within the logic of the game. Like, if you want to go get a police car, and you hijack it from the police, and the police say no, that's reasonable. That's within the logic of the game, because you made a game that takes place in a city that has law enforcement. If you get that car, and the police get mad at you, and you escape the police, you should just have the car. You should just have the car now. That should be the end of it. But it's realistic that the police would, like, I don't know, put out an APB, or they would know the license plate, or blah. This is a video game. There's no excuse for that. This is a video game. You should be able to do what you want. And if what you want is go get all the law enforcement vehicles like I have done my entire life in every game that will permit it, pretty much, is, even this one, where I just got a mod for it, by the way. Thank frick for modders. Even this game, they should just let you do that. That should be it. You know? Do you want the police MRAP? Oh, well, just go get it. Maybe you have to work for it a little bit. Maybe you have to figure out where to get it. Maybe you have to fight for it a little bit. Maybe you have to escape or something. But then after that, that should just be the end of it, really. Honestly. Like, you know, that should be it. That's, you know, you made your own gameplay, essentially. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. Like, as a player, I don't mind having, you know, what the game has put out for me, like the missions or the activities or all that stuff. But a lot of these games, especially open world games, are designed for the player to make their own gameplay. They're designed to make their own stories. They're designed for them to explore and essentially make their own gameplay, make their own missions, make their own fun out of it. That's why a lot of these games are so good and so fun and so popular, because they give the player freedom. What is freedom? The absence of control. Freedom is the absence of restrictions and the absence of control in this context. And when you suddenly throw restrictions back or control back in the form of, like, these sorts of things, and you restrict that, and the player makes their own gameplay, but they also can't see it through or something because of game restrictions, then you have undermined your own game. You have undermined the fun of the player that is currently playing your game. You have undermined everything that your game is here to do. What is this game here to do? Give me a nice, fun little San Francisco Bay Area playground to hack stuff in and shoot stuff in and basically do whatever I see fit. And if whatever I see fit is go get an MRAP and have the MRAP, then I can't do that. Because there's no garage system. I can't call it in on Car on Demand because that would be unrealistic. And even if I did actually get the... even if I did actually resign myself to getting the MRAP, like, fighting for it, stealing it every single time I want one, then I'll just get attacked on sight again every time. You are putting pressure on the player to not do something that they want to do for fun, and you are undermining the gameplay that they have created. You are undermining everything your game stands for, and you are undermining everything that video games in general stand for and should be when you have these restrictions. And yeah, just an extra reference to the Black Hand Ball art. That was me making my own gameplay, and it was hard, and it took me like 3 days. But in the end, I was making my own gameplay. I made my own thing out of it. I took free roam and I made something out of it. I made my own objective. I made my own goal. I was free to pursue it. Even though it was glitchy and not intended, I was free to go do it, and I did it. And in other games, you know, if you want a specific vehicle, older games, you might have a garage where you can then save those vehicles, and you're free to go do that. You're just, like I said, having these restrictions, you're just undermining everything. Mafia, I can understand a slight bit, maybe, because the entire game is built to be realistic, but even that, honestly, in some ways, like, at least, like, you know how in Mafia 2, if you steal a car, then the car is marked by the police, and the only way to get rid of that is to change the plates, and you can't do that on police cars? Like, I can understand having that mechanic. That mechanic is cool. That mechanic is kind of really cool and interesting to have an actual mechanic based on, like, cars being marked as, you know, stolen. Or, well, yeah, pretty much stolen. Because the license plate. That's, like, what they do in real life. That is good game design to do something like that. But this is a video game. I think this is a video game, and if the player wants to have a police car... And this game does have a garage, by the way. I like to point out that Mafia 2 does actually have a player garage where you can just, you know, have any car you want. Except the police cars. That's the thing. Except the police cars. And I just think it would take you, like, what, 5 seconds to enable the ability to change the plates on police cars in that game, and then just have them. And might detract from the realism a little bit, but, like, you've made a vehicle in the game, and you're going to essentially punish the player for wanting to use it and then using it. This is like gameplay that you technically have in your game that you're going to punish the player for doing. And what? I don't know. I think I've been talking for long enough here. And yeah, that was a very interesting, spontaneous rant right there at the end about games. I think the best games are about freedom. They're about doing whatever you want and not having anything stop you, unless it's within, like, the confines of the logic of the game. Like, if you want to blow up a base in Just Cause, and Just Cause is a game about an oppressive, evil dictatorship military, and the military tries to stop you, that's fine. That's within the logic of the game. That's fine. That's not a restriction. That's just, like, obstacles and enemies, and of course you're going to have that. But when you have these other sorts of restrictions that just detract from what you... like I said earlier, I don't mind if you have to work for it. That's fine. If you want to work for it. If you want to fight for it. You know? It's a video game. It's just... It shouldn't be just restricted outright. You know? If you have a car-on-demand system like this, there should be a way to just call in whatever you want. Because the car-on-demand systems in all these games, they're the successor to the garage systems that we had in the mid to late 2000s. And so they should be able to give you any vehicle you want, because this is a game, and the garages used to do the same thing. And the only real limit was there wasn't one. That's the thing. You know, the old phrase is the only limit is your imagination. And in a way, there wasn't a limit. Any vehicle. You could just have any vehicle. Any vehicle you, like in Saints Row 2, for example, any vehicle you see, if you can get it, and you can park it on top of your garage and then get out, that vehicle is yours forever. There are no restrictions. That's just it. That's it. Period. Period. And that's it. And games have lost a lot of these. Games have lost a lot. Games have lost a lot. But that's a conversation for another day. Literally because that's the topic of my project video that I'm working on. And, just in general, one of the things that games have lost is, I think, that sense of freedom, that sense of care, but also, like I said, that sense of freedom that really made games special in the mid to late 2000s and even early 2000s. Command & Conquer wasn't even in the 2000s, it was in the mid to late 90s. Just in general, yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go... The sun's literally going down in the game a little bit, it's like late afternoon. So, yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day on my very special, interesting, spontaneous rant there. You're probably wondering why this video is like a freaking half-hour long, even though it only took like 5 minutes. Even though it would only take you 5 minutes to go to these two specific locations. And I think I'm going to call it a day there on the rant and call it a day in this video. Yeah, to summarize my thoughts, games are about being free. Games are about freedom. And they're about having restrictions within limits. You ever heard of the phrase freedom? Oh, yeah, my headlights turned on automatically. You ever heard of the phrase, like, freedom within limits that I think I heard before or something? Games are about freedom, and they're about having restrictions within limits. They're about letting the player do what they want. And when you don't let especially the best way of summarizing it is that I think games should be yes men, and games should be yes men. Games are there to let the player be free to do whatever they want for the sake of escapism, or maybe just fun or entertainment, or maybe they want to have an engaging story, or maybe like the characters, you know, whatever it is. games should just be yes men. Games should be fun. Games should be essentially there for the player, not there for the games. You know what I mean? Just, they should be there for you. They should be there to let you do what you want. They should be free. They should be freedom. And when you don't let the player do things, and when you impose restrictions that aren't within the realm of, like, the logic of the game, especially when they're, like, not, especially when they are, like, not compromising the previous precedents of games. I think that's the right way to say that, right? I'm having a stroke. Like, the precedent that was set by these games is that you can have any vehicle you want. So, like, yeah, if you're not compromising the precedents set by other games, even if you are, like, even if games started as restricting you from driving whatever you want, it would be cool and more freeing to have gotten rid of that over time. And, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and, call it a day on the rant. These games need to stop doing these things. I think games should be yes men, and I think that if the player wants to do something, the game should go, heck yeah, do what you want. That's it. Just go ahead and do it. Because when you don't do that, and when you undermine restrictions, you're compromising everything you stand for as a video game. You compromise everything you are here to do, and you compromise everything you are, and everything you stand for. Thank you guys so much for watching. Anyone who's still here after listening to me rant for that long. And I hope I'm going to be able to move this file over to my other PC to edit. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next episode of the Law Enforcement Chronicles I actually do have a few things to work out off screen, like how to do things. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one for I guess let's go with the Oakland police vehicles. I'll see you guys.